Hey, it's Jason. When I was at the Pixel 9 keynote about a month ago, the device that I was least optimistic about going into the event was the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, if I'm being totally honest, but it was hands down the one that left me the most awestruck once I got my hands on it. And that's mainly because Google made some major improvements to what is their second folding smartphone. It's quite a leap from their first swing with the original Pixel Fold, and given that they haven't been what I would say in the top tier when it comes to design and execution, I was kind of blown away at how incredible this phone looked and felt in the hand. But I didn't have much of a chance to really test it during my short time at the event, so I ordered one for myself and I've been using it for about a week now, and I want to go over how my experience has been to help you decide if this may or may not be the right phone for you. But before we jump into it, a real quick plug for the free JSL newsletter. I send subscribers a new full-res wallpaper every week, as well as links to really good tech deals and random articles written by yours truly. It's totally free. Link to subscribe will be in the description below. Okay, first, let's talk about the Pixel 9 Pro Fold's updated design and form factor. This is by far going to be one of the most noticeable changes that you're going to experience once you get this phone in your hands. And to put it simply, it's a home run. This is one of the best put together smartphones I've ever experienced. And a good place to start is with the updated dimensions. Rather than going with the more stout passport style the original Fold went with, Google decided to use a more familiar aspect ratio with the front of the device. And this screen on the front comes in at 6.3 inches, which is the exact same size as what's on the new Pixel 9. This makes the front display much more normal to use and navigate, which I feel is more welcoming to folks who are likely new to this form factor. And that sentiment is only enhanced with what Google has done with the physical design and build with this phone. First off, they flattened out the frame instead of going with the rounded design the original Fold had. This makes the Pixel 9 Pro look and feel a lot more modern and clean. I love how Google went with the brushed finish as well. It makes the phone look a lot more sleek, especially when you pair it with the matte finish on the back as well as the matte finish on the camera housing. But no doubt the most important and most meaningful design change is with the Pixel 9 Pro's thinness. This is one of the thinnest foldable devices I've ever used, and I understood immediately how important of a design choice this was. Folding phones generally are bulky given the unorthodox form factor, and I didn't understand how uninviting this can be from a user standpoint. But with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold being as thin as it is, it feels like a normal phone in its folded state, and in a very real way, it makes the device a lot more welcoming to use. Now the design, it isn't perfect. There are still some things that are not the best. For example, the 8-inch display on the inside, it still has a very glossy finish that picks up a lot of fingerprints super easily. It's really reflective and it's not the easiest thing to keep clean. And then of course you have the crease in the middle. I actually think Google did a great job with the hinge and allowing the phone to unfold completely this go around, but the crease is still noticeable, especially when you're looking at it at an angle. I will say when you look at it dead on, it's really not an issue, but it's not a seamless integration like we all would like. And the last thing that I'm going to touch on is the bezel on the inside screen. It's so much better than before, and I think overall it's really well done, but it would have been nice if it was a bit slimmer. I'm nitpicking here, but if they could get the bezel similarly as small as the ones that they have on the Pixel 9 Pros, that would be great. Now, an important thing to note, almost all of those complaints I just went through aren't things that I'd say are exclusive to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Those are challenges that all folding phones face at this point in time. And in the grand scheme of things, given those general limitations, I think Google did a phenomenal job with the execution with the updated design. And it's only made better with how the Pixel 9 Pro Fold performs. So first, when we're talking about the screens, both the front and inside panels are using OLED technology, and both have peak brightness levels of 2700 nits, and both have variable refresh rates at up to 120 Hz. And the performance on both of these screens are fantastic. Everything comes off sharp and vibrant, and both displays are super engaging to use. Because the front display has a familiar aspect ratio, consuming content requires no compromises. And when you open it up to take advantage of the 8-inch screen on the inside, it amplifies the engagement to a significant degree. This is especially true if you play games on your phone. It really feels like you're using a tablet when you're playing games that can take advantage of the full screen. I personally have enjoyed the Fold the most for reading. The larger screen real estate makes for a noticeably better experience. For power users, you can take advantage of the Pixel Fold's multi-screen mode. It's really easy to use, and multitasking on a device like this is much more conducive than a traditional phone. Plus, with the unique form factor, you can consume content in some interesting ways. Case in point, you can watch YouTube in this folded manner where the top half of the screen is the video and the bottom half is the remaining part of the app. Now, when it comes to biometric security, Google uses its fingerprint sensor that's embedded on the power button on the side. I actually really like this. It may not look as cool as an in-display fingerprint reader, but it's faster and easier to authenticate this way in my opinion, and it's really easy to set up. Now, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is powered by Google's Tensor G4 chip and 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is optimized for Google's suite of AI features. I'm not going to go through all of them, but it does have access to the new features like Google's Add Me that allows the person shooting the picture to join the image artificially. It works well, but I'm not sure how useful it is though. Then you have the new Reimagine feature on the Magic Editor that allows you to select a portion of a photo and then reimagine it using prompts. It works surprisingly well, and even though it still takes a long time to process, it is shorter than what I experienced on the Pixel 8 Pro. You also get access to Gemini Live if you have Gemini Advanced. It's Google's advanced AI chatbot and it works really well. It's probably the thing I've been most impressed with. You also get access to the new Pixel Studio that can generate AI images based on written or verbal prompts. It's super fast and it is fun for people to mess around with, but again, I'm not sure how useful this feature is. Now, one of the most important performance measures for the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is battery life. Because of this new thinner design, this phone actually has a smaller battery than the Pixel 9 and the Pixel 9 Pro. And 1 week later, I'm going to say that the battery performance is okay. It can get you through a full day of light regular use, but it will get a bit sporty if you are a power user. And to me, that's a bigger issue than what it may sound like. Again, it's not that the battery life itself is something I'd consider poor, but this phone is specifically designed to be a power user's delight. So it's kind of tough when a phone like this is maximized for its intended use only to have it compromised with the lack of power. I'm going to have to monitor battery performance over time. I should say that Pixels don't have the best track record in this area, which can be bad if battery life off the rip is already posing challenges. Okay, the last thing that I want to touch on with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is its camera performance, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the slight controversy around the cameras in general with this phone. And the beef is really this: despite what should be considered the top flagship Pixel 9 that Google debuted, the Fold is not equipped with the newest camera hardware. It has a 48 megapixel main sensor, a 10 megapixel ultra wide, and a 10 megapixel 5x telephoto zoom on the back, which is quite different from what's on the new Pixel 9 Pro. It does have two front-facing selfie cameras, one on the outer display and one on the inner. And let's talk about the bad first. The inner display selfie camera is pretty crappy, like virtually all cameras inside folding devices. You should really think of this more as an integrated webcam more than a photo camera, and in that regard it gets the job done, but I wouldn't use it for pictures. Now, the selfie camera on the outside display is better. It's not as good as the major update that the Pixel 9 Pro has with its new 42 megapixel upgrade, but it still performs well in good lighting conditions. And the rest of the cameras on the back, when it comes to still images, despite the older hardware, I'm just going to be honest, they still perform really well. Now, the main reason for this is Google's image processing. It's the main reason why the pictures look as good as they do, as the images come out sharp and vibrant and moody in that Pixel way. And you'd be hard-pressed to notice a major difference between what's coming out of the newest camera hardware compared to what's coming out of the Fold. And again, because of its unique form factor, there are some interesting things that you can do with this phone that you just can't do with others. First off, you can take selfies using the much better cameras on the rear by unfolding the device and using the front screen as your monitor. It is a bit cumbersome to do, but the quality difference is significant. Plus, you get a new feature that is great for parents who have younger kids called Made You Look. It uses the front display to show a fun animated video that can help grab your baby's attention and hopefully make them smile while looking at the camera. It's a clever addition that parents will no doubt appreciate. Now, when it comes to video, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold can shoot in 4K resolution at up to 60 frames per second. Important thing to note that it does not have the new video boost feature that can post-process the video up to 8K. That said, the video quality you're able to get with this phone is good, especially in good lighting conditions and when you have a primary subject in the frame, but I do wish a phone as expensive as this did a little bit better in this arena. And that brings me to my last and probably most important point when it comes to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and that's its price. This phone has a starting price tag of $1,800 US. That is an enormous amount of money to spend on a phone, even if it's as good as this one. And 1 week later, I've been extremely impressed with the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. It's by far the best phone Google has ever made in my opinion, but I'm hesitant to recommend it because of its exorbitant price tag. Now, if you have a lot of money and you are a bona fide power user, like you know for a fact that you're going to take advantage of all the things a folding phone phone provides, then this phone could be a great option for you. But if you're a regular Joe who uses their phone for normal stuff, I'm not sure if the Fold makes sense for you, especially if you're on somewhat of a budget. Now, it is early, and I plan to put this thing to the test and see how it performs over time, but let me know what you guys think about the new Pixel Fold. Do you think it's worth a heavy price tag? Or do you think it's a swing and a miss? Curious to get your thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. And in case you guys missed my reviews of the Pixel 9 and the Pixel 9 Pro, check them out here. They're going to help you be as informed as possible.